Hi ladies, it's Lee here, a woman in disguise, and I want to talk a little bit about storytelling. I recently had an opportunity to go to a storytelling event, which was super fun. It was great because my friend got her name pulled out of the hat and was able to go up and tell a story, and some of the stories were funny. Some of them were, really sad or difficult situations, and they were all different. But each one had that same power to pull me in and the rest of the audience into kind of a common understanding of a situation or an emotion, and everyone collectively got to participate in that human experience. And that's what I think is so powerful about storytelling. And so I took a step back and said, okay, so what are the stories that I tell myself? And I did a little exercise to write down some of the stories that I tell myself. And it was really eye-opening because I realized that I tell myself a lot of stories that aren't always about me expanding into this world, but are about staying safe, playing it safe, being small. And it was really eye-opening because I truly believe that at the end of the day, I show up in the world based on the stories that I tell myself. So I wanted to dig a little deeper into that and really think about those stories that have served me in some way at some time, but are no longer going to serve me going forward and kind of living the life that I want. And a lot of those stories are based on and you may have heard this term, limiting beliefs. And it's those little stories that restrict how we see the world. We kind of already know what to expect, and guess what? What we expect happens. It can really, our limiting beliefs can stop us from really presenting our true selves to the world and to ourselves, because we've got these little stories. They could have come from childhood. They could come from, different relationships. They could come from past experiences, but they're these little stories that we tell ourselves that say, this is kind of how the world works for me. And I really want to encourage all of us to really look at those stories, and the ones that tell us to kind of hunker down and retract from the world, we need to rewrite those. And to start to rewrite those stories, we have to first face the stories that are already running us on autopilot. So I wanted to give some pointers and some tips and encourage you to go through a little exercise to help understand your stories. And so the first one is pick a topic, because we've got these stories and everything, and I will tell you, everyone has them on money. So that's one limiting belief, but I have one that's a little bit broader. I'll call it good fortune or happiness, like kind of this general, goodness of life. And for me, that's a topic that I could take. I'd write that down and then write down the beliefs I have on that. Well, a lot of the stories that I'll hear and the beliefs I have about that is, well, if something really good happens, then something bad has to happen to offset it, because it's all got to kind of be equal. So that's one story. Another belief in that area is, well, gosh, if you expect, if I don't expect too much, then if it doesn't happen, I won't be as disappointed. Like good luck, like I'd sit on the airplane and they'd come over and they'd talk about that credit card, how you can get all these miles, or I'll watch something and it'll be like, all these people figure out how to pay for their vacations. The story for me when I hear stuff like that just sounds really cool, is that's for other people, not for me. That won't work for me. So those are some of my limiting beliefs. And guess what? It's like when we go out and look for a new car, let's say, and we decide we want that, blue whatever. Guess what? We start to see that car everywhere. That's how our limiting beliefs work. When the world is there aren't more of those blue cars out there. It's just what we're attracting because we're looking for it. Well, limiting beliefs work the same way. It's kind of what's allowing me to see what's out there is limited by these stories that I tell myself. So you'd write down those beliefs, and then it's a really important step to actually thank them. Because for somehow these stories have served us But they typically make us feel safe. They take something unknown and they make it known. They give us predictability. Or there could have been a really specific situation where, hey, that story did play out. That bad thing happened, but it kind of became the new reality that we saw everything through. So thank those stories because somehow they served us. And then I really think the next step after you thank them is to let them go. Just realize that, hey, thank you for protecting me in the past. But you know what? I'm not going to feel angry about them, especially if it's childhood stuff. Maybe a parent told you something, a sibling told you something, and you're living with that reality. Let go of the anger, guilt, shame, whatever comes with it, and just let it go. And then sit down and rewrite your news story. And that is taking those beliefs and flipping them. So instead of me saying something, when something good happens, it means something bad is going to happen to offset it. What my news story is when good things happen, it just shows to me that the universe is filled with amazing things and more good things will happen for me. Or when I talk about my story about don't set my expectations too high because then when things don't work out, I won't be so disappointed. I can switch that to say, I will really set my expectations high and, be big in life, play big in life, knowing that when things don't work out, I've got it. Totally different story. So I really encourage you to really think about those stories that you tell yourself that make you see the blue car when there's lots of other cars out there. Write them down, be thankful for how they've served you, and then take that list and rewrite that story so that you are ready to receive everything that the universe wants to give to you. It's just a really powerful exercise because I will tell you this, and I believe this, that we are our most powerful storytellers, and that the stories we tell ourselves is how we show up. So I always want my stories to reflect how I want to show up in this world, not the stories that will give me this false sense of security and get me to hunker down. Life's about expanding. And so to expand, we have to have the right stories running in our minds. So there you go. Be your best storyteller. I would love to hear your comments after you have a chance to do this. Let me know what came up for you. So rewrite your story and let me know how it goes. We'll see you soon. Bye.